Hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Hi, Nikola. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you well, Rafa.
Right, cool. So hey everyone, my name is Raf and I'm your host today at SEOrious. I'm a co-founder and CEO for huskyhamster.com and non-agency. So before we start our event, let me read a few rules and announcements. First announcements, then the entire event should last approximately 120 minutes. And that's all. Few rules. Please ask questions in the comments section during the presentation. At the end of every presentation, I'll read them to our speakers, so you'll hear your answers. Please don't swear and don't sell links in the comments. That's all the rules I had. And with us, we have Nikola Minkov, our first speaker, founder and owner of the award-winning SEO agency. I checked that this morning, and this is completely true. SERPRite is an award-winning agency from Sofia in Bulgaria. And Nikola has over 10 years of experience in SEO, close to 1,000 SEO projects he's been involved to. So he's not just an SEO, though. When he's not masterminding his business, he's a lecturer at the University of St. Clement Ochrynsky and Varna Free University. Nikola's specialty is content, technical SEO, and organic traffic strategies. So welcome our first guest, Nikola Minkov from SERPrite. And Nikola, a microphone is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Raf. So it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. You present me, I think, well. Thanks for that. And for me, it's really good to have this chance to present short and about my story. And my story is real, and I will share how I start everything. Can I share my screen now?
Of course, yes, you can. You can absolutely just click share.
Yeah, sure. Here is it.
It's at the bottom of. I think we're having a bit of a technical problems. Yeah, we can see your screen now. So
sorry for that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sometimes Canva get decision against us. Yeah.
No
Okay,
worries.
my presentation is some key points to manage a success SEO agency in 23, or how I turning 500 euro into 3 million startup. I say startup because for me, SERPrite is my first startup. So that might share one very important thing for me. Opportunity lies in the place where the complaints are. So where the problem are, there the money. So I really start with 500 euro. I get it from one friend to create my first agency, my first company actually. I don't know what kind of agency, but my first company. And I turned to 3 million for 6 years. So at the beginning, I create a few small ideas and bring them to the biggest one. First company, it's named Serpact. After that, in the story, you see what is the connection between the SERP Academy, the biggest SEO academy in Bulgaria, SERPConf, Eastern Europe's SEO conference, and few small projects. And now we prepared our first SaaS startup. So my story shortly. I don't think that I'm greatest businessman in the world or greatest SEO in the world. So I just follow a few simple steps and structures where I can follow and check what they give me back and what is at the other side of the business niche and needs of the clients. I was football player 15 years and I played just one game. So this is a big fault, my biggest fault in my life. After that, I was in Greek and I pick a garlic like other guys everywhere in the Greek. I bankrupted twice. And when I was 23, my wife was pregnant and I searching 50 cents in my pockets to buy something for her, but I didn't find anything. And of course, this changed my mind, and I get the first decision to change my professional career. And I start to learning what is the website on 22. I was on 22 years and old. And step by step, one of the biggest achievement on this picture, this is the oldest, trusted, and the most popular university in Bulgaria. And our contract with this university is for the first SEO academic in Bulgaria, official academic from the government and the Sofia University. Thanks to them for that. And step by step, I starting to learning, go to the different conference, find some smart people like Rafa, like Milosz, like many of them, Aleda, John, and many. So I start to learn from them step by step. I follow my plan, and after a few years, I have some achievements. Denzel Washington said that dreams without goals are just dreams, and this is very important for me. Life goals, early goals, monthly, weekly, daily goals. And at the moment, I'm founder of Serpact, Serp Academy, SERPConf, our startup tracking. I'm member of board of directors of Bulgarian E-commerce Association. More than 10 years, like Rafa said. More than 80 conferences worldwide, some certificates, some thousands of projects. Good connection with SEMrush, Webit, MB Summit. And I'm young scientist in the Bulgarian, the same university, Sofia University, in the Faculty of Economics. Young science means before the PhD. So what is the current situation in the Europe? So GNI per capita, for example, in Bulgaria is $9,000. In Poland is 15,000.3. What about the internet users? In Bulgaria, 78. In Poland, 87. E-shoppers in Bulgaria are just 42%. In Poland, 70. Where is the better chance to create online e-commerce? Where is the better place for the companies to create the services for this e-commerce? The answer is Poland. Southern Europe, this is the map of Southern Europe, Eastern Europe. Compare the Southern and Eastern, and you can see that the Southern is much better than the Eastern. So B2C e-commerce turnover, 15 billion. B2C turnover in Southern is 134 billion euro. Big difference, yeah? Let's compare Poland and Bulgaria. What is there? Poland is 1.5 to 2.5, much better than Bulgaria. And be careful, 34 billion e-commerce turnover, 1.6 in Bulgaria, unfortunately. So chapter 1, how to identify business niche. So I identify that SEO industry is very good because when I was an administrator on the website, I can't understand how they run websites. For me, it was big secret, and I love the stories with secrets, with some details where I can follow. So the SEO industry was very big. Around average monthly price is 400, 900 euro. This is very good because you have every month recurring revenue based on the number of the clients. The medium size of the business are between 3 and 15,000, and the corporate business was 10, 30,000. So the industry, the most popular search engines at the moment, this snapshot from July, Google is the leader. After that is Bing at almost 3%. Of course, they increase a little bit with the GPT news and technology. And the SEO industry, it's it's a big, huge industry where the people search and trying to find the best results. I will skip that. But I investigated it before 7 years. What is the story of the Google when they launch the first updates? Why they do that? And I try to connect each update with some idea how to make some business service for that. And in the sum of the years, in 2017, SERPACT was launched like a startup. 2018 was launched our first webinars in Bulgaria before COVID, before COVID trends about webinars. Some of the guests was John Mueller, Aleida, Barry Schwartz, and etc. And 2 years later, we launched Digital News and SERP AMA. After that, 2021, SERP Academy, I already spoke about that, and SERPConf, our first conference, real conference in Bulgaria, Eastern Europe. So here is my connection between the companies. You see, each company helps to other ones, and there is a purpose why the company is there. You can download the presentation after the webinar, and of course, everything is clear. It's not a secret. Chapter 2, how to dominate in your business niche. So here are 7 simple rules. Conceptualization, investment, customer focus. The customers are most important thing in one business. Value proposition, of course, blah, 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 blah. Marketing and branding, partnership, and alliance, very, very important step. And of course, innovation, revenue growth, and etc. So I'm in Bulgaria. I'm born here. My auditory is here. My target group is here. And what are my benefits versus the other agency? First, with conceptualization, I started talking about no hidden fees because everybody in Bulgaria trying to move something in the bill, move something in the invoice. And I start to write in my website, everywhere, in the webinars, in the guest posting, no hidden fees. Simple, it's free. Second one, we use completely transparent SEO methods. We start to talk about that. We track each project in real time. So this innovation, nobody tracking that, just emails. And each user can follow our task and comment them. Solutions, how we can check our performance. Real-time report, we don't need to monthly reports, 3 monthly reports, yearly reports, and etc. Of course, the meetings are important, but if the data is there and if we can connect the data, it's very, very simple to do it. So the next one, the solution, one client per niche. It's simple, but it's USP, unique selling points for us. We work only with one client per niche. This is very important for some type of clients because they trust you. They can believe you for each step. So 5 simple steps are our USP, unique selling points. Nothing of them are not paid. I don't spend any penny for that. The next one, creating your custom finance dashboard. Rafa know about a little bit about that because we was in Cyprus 1 year ago. It was very nice. And I know the forecast about our revenue, about our expenses, about our profit for the next 2 years. I know about the how to invest and where in real time. And I know what is the movements of the money. And it's very simple because Google Spreadsheet is free. Google Data Studio, okay, Worker Studio, it's free too. And you can learn a little bit. I spent 1 month to learn that. And I have my own software customized by my own goals. Okay? And this show me what is the current situation for each month in real time. And I can make a forecast for 1 year, after 2 years, or more horizontal period. So some breakdowns for expenses and breakdowns for revenue, of course, costs and revenue. One of the most important thing for the customers is to analyze their questions. When they're searching something in Google, what they mean. Of course, based on the SEO opinion, everybody of us know what is semantic core, but what is their problem? What is their pain? And I find they are not trust to somebody who is not clear with the price range. They not trust with somebody who is not showing their project in the real time. And this is our USP. It's simple. Of course, value proposition is very important, but everybody of here of the webinar know what is most important value propositions. I will skip a little bit. Of course, marketing and branding, guest posting, interviews, webinars, conferences, and everything is important. So the marketing and branding never stop. So this is the game where we will stay when we have the companies. So never end. And the partnership, one of the most important thing. When you start your business, you don't have popular. You're not influencer. You can't call somebody and say, please give me a work. You're not popular. Nobody know you. But you can ask. And my idea in that moment is I start to ask some development companies, web design companies, Facebook and Google Ads, to give us and share us a little bit work, to recommend us, to try with us. And we give back to them 10% or 20% of the profit, of the revenue, like commission, like referral. And of course, SEO agency. Nobody can get all work in the world. Now we share maybe 80% of our work to some of our projects. Of course, innovation are very important. This short snapshot from our startup, I will skip, you can check it later. And the revenue growth, you know what will be happen. Of course, sometimes when COVID is come, sometimes when the war is there, close to you, you can predict everything. But it's possible to be and to know what will be happen for the next horizon. This means 18 months in the business development. Chapter 2, shortly, how to manage your team. So we use Ray Dalio scenario for meritocracy. Principles of Ray Dalio is one of the favorite books. Now it's the 2nd edition, and I really recommend that to read this book. So we have 2 circles. One is with the management, and the management circle working with our technical teams and our accounting team and other guys in our companies. We are around 55 guys in the 3 of the companies. So we prepared each year town hall presentation, personalized town hall presentation for each one of our team. What is the goals for the year? What is the achievement of the year? But I talk with everybody of them before to prepare the town hall presentation. And everybody of the company know what really happened with everybody. And not just that, everything is clear. They know the process, they know the projects, they know how to follow the steps with strong documentation. In just 1 slide, everybody can know who is the responsible for every project in the company. Who is the project owner? Who is the project manager? In 1 simple slide. Here are 70 projects, 2 project managers, and 5 project owners with 1 slide. It's very simple, and this slide is it's dynamic for everybody of the company. Of course, the people need support, need help. need trust. So give to them maximum information without chats. So this means that everything can be created, like team contacts, client contacts, Slack channels, email templates, task templates, plan your vacation, real-time board, all internal meetings, where, when, with him, with who, all offices availability. Book a meeting with CEO, give them this chance to talk with you. Book a meeting with project owners, documentation, log files with errors, and every possible thing what they can ask you. Skip these questions, prepare them before to ask you. Here we own around 1,000 documents, but in SERPACT it's around 172 at the moment. And we have log files with errors. Everybody can report other one, or doesn't matter who is it, can report their mistakes. So the team report me for my mistakes, but they give me solutions for each mistake. And when somebody come in our company, can read all mistakes, and believe me, I am in 30 or 40% of all of my all of mistakes. I'm on 30 or 40%. It's a big number. The cards, give to your team chance to give based on the 10 important words here in the left corner, what they think for other ones. Just a simple formula from 1 to 10. And if you know this information, what the team think for somebody, you can choose the right person or the right team for the task, for example, for creative or for technical things. And this is a great chance for the management to rank the teams, to collect the right teams for right project, for current projects. Okay, SERP Academy, I already talked about that. And some advantage for our teams. It's a standard advantage. Some of them I get it from the guys like Milosz, like Rafa, like Alexandra Tachalova from our meeting, but we use them now. And of course, do some local for them, like conference, like team building, like place where they can critique you. They can talk about you directly. I do that each year, and I all of the points in all of each semantic and neuron analysis, what they think about me like CEO, not like a person, because we work not we work with them, and their opinion, their feeling are important. Like Steve Jobs said, that nobody's bigger than the persons in the company. So the people are the company, not the company is making a people great. How they feel it. So this is a real videos reviews from our team. I don't know about that. They prepare it for me, from other guys, from our new era, from past 1 year, from clients. Of course, it's important for your brand strategy. And I will skip the slides about the tracking. You can see it after that because this is our startup. It's story about the startup, but our time is ticking away. 5 lessons I learned. First one, be honest is the best policy. In every hard moment when you are honest, this is the right decision. Believe me. Prepare for challenges. Nobody can do it from first time. Of course, sometimes you can, but I bankrupt twice. I searching 50 cents in my pockets. So not sometimes it's very, very hard. And you can understand, you can be okay with that. Choose a right partnership. And please don't do it the business with your family. Balance between the thoughts and actions. It's important. So if you believe in something, do it and don't think after that why I do it. Don't never think, never look back. This is very important. If you broke this project, if you lose this project, if you lose this business, it's absolutely okay. Big fraud is very good. And focus on your business, not your competitors. Your business is your goal. Your competitors can be your partners, not your competitors. They are friends, and and they can share with you a knowledge, a work, or business, and a partnership. So be a friend with them. And life is beautiful. I hope this person is from Poland. I try to find a popular Poland actor. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Great presentation, Nikola. I mean, such a journey from like 500 euros to 3 million. Right. I definitely, I definitely need to share this presentation with a number of people, because what I'm hearing very often is that, oh, I need like $100,000 before I start anything. so, so I think this is truly, truly inspiring. Um, I just wanted to ask a question that, you talked about, focus and critique and other stuff. So, but how do you actually determine what to focus on? What is your priority? How you judge what's supposed to be priority? Because in real life, that's I know, and I think you also know that there's so many things that are happening, especially in our lives, like you know. Google releasing something, there is a problem with the economy and stuff like that. How do you determine focus, and how often you set those goals, maybe?
If you ask me about life goals, of course, on first place is my family and my daughters. When we talk about the business, I don't think a lot for the future. I think for the real moment now, what can be useful and what can be really good for the audience, for the some group of people. So this is the most important target for me now, the real moment now. Of course, I have investments with some of the businesses about to be more sure that if I lose something, I have plan B or plan C. But this is a normal, it's not some genius plan.
Oh, it sounds very good to me. Like, if you have an A plan, B plan, and then if everything goes to, then you have a C plan. I mean, come on, that's really thoughtful, and I really appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. There's one more, feedback. Are we all supposed to be thriving on feedback? Obviously, that's our driver. But it's easier said than done. It's also difficult to give feedback, especially when it's kind of negative, as a critique, but it's also quite difficult to remember to provide feedback to others. And my question would be, how did you learn, and when did you learn actually to accept critique? Because as a business owner, I know plenty of people are business owners in different scale of businesses, and they are the smartest human beings on the planet, and it's quite difficult to say anything to them. So how did you do that?
Let's say that more of the people are not narcissists. So when they are narcissists, they can do it. But what will be wrong if somebody tell you the truth, the real truth, what he think about you? What will be changed? You're same person today and tomorrow. You're not killed somebody. You're same person with same knowledge, with same feelings. But it's better if you know the truth. Of course, it's not possible to know 100% of the truth, but it's possible to know more of them. And if you give to your team chance to critique you, they will understand that we are part of the one hand. If you try to boxing with hand, but try to just with one finger, you broke your finger. If you try with two, you broke. But if you are team and try to move your hand fast, you can kill other ones in the business, of course.
Of course, of
So
course, of course.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
definitely not
yeah.
the ones that are providing you the feedback. But, uh, thank you very much once again. I really appreciate that you came and you shared all this knowledge with us. It's really, really an inspiring story. So thank you very much, guys. Round of applause for Nikola, and we will be having our next speaker in a second. Thank you very much, Nikola, once again.
Thank you.
Bye.
My pleasure.
Okay, we have one more person. We have Milosz Krasinski. Milosz Krasinski, I wrote a dynamic audio engineer turned digital marketer, and he's now, with over 10 years of experience in link building, SEO, and we spent endless hours over the years talking about SEO, links, and stuff. Milosz has roots in economics, as I do, so probably that's why it's very easy to talk with him. And audio engineering at SAE London, Milosz soon discovered his true passion that lays in working with creative, entrepreneurial, analytical thinkers, and he's partly his transition from that into SEO and link building. So he's currently based in Cyprus, though, as he likes high temperatures and low taxes. And he'll be talking about HARO and partnerships and links that you apparently cannot buy. I can't wait to be convinced to that. Hey, Milosz, nice to see you, man.
Hey there, Rafael. Thanks for having me. I just need to ask you, how much did you get paid for this present, for telling about this? How much did you get paid to introduce me that well?
Well, when you finish, just open your email and you'll know.
Right? Send me the invoice.
Yeah, it's nothing cheap in life, man. So it happens. But yeah, I really, I was speaking from my heart. I love your transition from like being audio engineer into the link building. It's obviously, we all have our stories, but yours is, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So I give you the microphone. I give you 25 minutes. Show us how to get free links.
Click the button of the
sure. Yes, please use sure.
Is it working now?
Yes, it does.
All right. I assume that because I cannot. Okay. So you can see full view, right?
Yes, it is.
Must be okay.
Yeah, it's
okay. There must be some delay. Okay, cool. Right, guys. So today I'm going to talk about HARO and $0 link. Okay, there is no such a stuff like $0 links. Obviously, you're going to pay for something, either way to someone. So people, they're going to do this for you. Maybe they have connections or they're going to do the service for you. But obviously, well, there are some things for free in this world. But let's talk about links. So it's a bit different subject than what Nikola had. So different stuff completely. But why HARO and why I don't talk about like why not digital PR and all that stuff, but I'll walk you through, okay? So slowly, and you're gonna get this whole idea what it is and why it matters these days in 2023, I guess. Right, so we got this HARO and people talk what it is. It's a simple platform at the end of the day where you just connect with the journalist, let's put this way, okay? So in a nutshell, it looks like this. You just log in and you're the source. So you're the one who can give a good to whatever number you wish, you see? So source and the journalist, simple as that, okay? So this is how does this look like. You're gonna get the queries and business ones, general, and so on. That's what you get on your email. Nothing else. The query looks like this, just an example. So you got a summary, you got the name of the journalist, you got the query, okay? And then you can pitch. If this is what you want to pitch, you can see yourself, you can see your name over there, you can share some experience, how to be broke and then be a very successful thing here, right? As well, because you don't have to pitch about why should you start using, it's all about links, right? At the end of the day. But that doesn't mean that you have to be like one of those guys that just trashing pitches, you know, and you're just like a spam, right? We don't want to spam. We keep having this for the last 15 years, right? There's, I guess, less spam. Google is taking over, you know, like they understand what is spam these days, right? So instead, what you really want to do, you want to build relations that not necessarily based on that you have to be there, and that means it's like a symbiosis, not necessary. It's commensalism. It means that one party of this equation can get something and it's beneficiary. It's like it's beneficent, or he's beneficiary of that. The other one doesn't get anything out of that, but it's not losing. You see where I come from? Sometimes two people can get something out of this. So in this case, the little bird is actually helping the elephant, right? So the little bird is getting something out of this, but this is not symbiosis. They can live without themselves. Very similar, it's when you look at the Google, the content and the authors, and the trust, the experience, the expertise, and also on, you know, this is the it. This is what Google wants to see. That's what Google wants to see from us, see from media publishers, from bloggers, and so on, and from the companies. So, for example, we've got this guy here, right? Raphael, he's got experience, right? We've got Alexandra Tachalova. She's got expertise in not only in link building, but how to run the company. We've got Nikola here. Nikola has authority, big authority, not only in SEO, but in the business as well, and in hiring people and creating processes, and probably in project management too. So you see where I come from. We've got Viola Eva. She's she's got a trustworthiness, right? When she talks about content SEO, and not only all the strategies and everything. I assume that also Viola Eva, she's got a massive experience when it comes to hiring people, because she's also building an agency and it's growing, right? So this is where I try to get you this picture, okay? You know this guy, that's Matt Dickety, that's his profile, right? When he gets quoted, everything makes sense, you know? He's talking about SEO, but he doesn't have to talk about SEO. He can talk about business as well, because he's an entrepreneur. He's not only SEO, okay? Not this button. Right, so what's the difference between cold emailing versus HARO? Cold emailing, it can be when you have full blast, full list of journalists, and you talk about yourself. You talk about your press release, you talk about your something that may not be necessarily interesting to the journalist at this right moment. But HARO will send you something like a package, right? You open your email and there are queries and they're looking for today. Maybe they want to publish something tomorrow. So you see, in that right moment, you become very helpful. So you don't spam. Big difference, isn't it? Let's take a look at the Go banking rates. It's just one of the domain that it appears on a HARO quite often. I just took the example and then I've just realized something quite interesting that I don't know how many people do this. Maybe you tell me something about it. But I keep asking SEO guys, and I say to them, how many DR, if this is whatever it is, you know, let's say that this DR thing is true, right? The metrics. Got official, like a 1 million domains. Close to the 8,000. That means that if I dig deeper, I just realized that according to Ahrefs, right, there are only 15,000 domains that are DR 80+. And I'm talking about .com, .co.uk, entire worldwide, only 15,000. Right? So this is like a sales judo technique. Why? You know why? Because if you are in a, let's say, Sahara, so the only one thing that about that. So if the journalist is looking for a specific query and you can give him your experience, like for example, we all have all this expertise and then, you know, the real life examples. This is what he's looking for. It's like it's like a water on the Sahara. That's it, done. That's just what he's looking for. So no spam. He gets exactly what he wants in this time, real time, right? Because you pitch him as soon as possible. And then there is also something else, but I'm just going to talk about it, right? This is the entire process, how to do this HARO, but it gets complicated a little bit, but really it's very simple. So pitching process, query analysis. Okay, query is basically a question from the journalist. You just analyze whatever, is it something you can answer to this? Website analysis is something that is worth pitch, like as you can see, if it's 100,000 traffic, you see the DR something, surely you really want to pitch that, right? You want your name and your company to be there. Journalist check. Andrew Lisa, you remember? He can write about Go banking rates and something to do with the financial. You do your pitch, you contact with. Simple as that. Then you track, because the funny thing about all of that is that once you've been selected, here is a brand 24, but you also have to have it by Google Alerts. Sometimes you can do it by your favorite SEO tools as well. Okay, you will find your link, but they will never tell you that you get quoted, you get selected, rarely, because they don't have time. It's interesting, isn't it? You get a link and then you find out after, let's say, maybe even 4 months. It can happen like that. Right, what can be done? What can be done with HARO? You can choose what media you can pitch to, right? You need to make yourself qualify. So do you qualify for this query? Can you talk about how to run the successful business if the query will be like that? Or how to do the team building? What about HR? Do you need HR? Some people, like big businessmen, even small businessmen, they're starting with a few cents. They don't have money to hire HR, and they do it by themselves, and it works. Some companies, they completely disagree. They don't need any HR or any HR processes at all. So you tailor your response, right? What can be done with HARO? You cannot choose the anchor. You cannot tell to the journalist that, hey, choose this anchor or something. You usually don't say that. You just leave your telephone number, you leave your LinkedIn, you leave all your details, right? There's no stuff like you talk about the follow links or everything is natural. If they will give you, they will give you. And then you cannot control the publishing date. It can happen after 1 day, up to 4 or 5 months. I saw the things like that. But it's amazing when you see that you pitched something 4 months ago and then suddenly you are on a big media publication. Okay, what do we need to have to start with it? Experts profiles. I've talked about it, but now let me go through again. Okay, so within your company, usually there is, again, sales, PR, marketing, design, developers, all that stuff, even financial department, right? The bigger company, the more profiles you have of those people. So we've got Rafael again, but look at him. His profile is exactly what the journalist probably would like to see. He's got experience. He's got a very sexy profile and picture here. And it says exactly he's a co-founder, he's a chief executive officer, He's also international SEO agency guy, and he's got expertise in content marketing and link building tactics, so he can talk about almost everything. He's got also expertise in other things, you know. So you think about Raphael, he's not only SEO guy, right? Same with Shirley. That's just let me take you through the different example. Shirley, head of human resources. There is section about activity, but she's very active. She's got experience, big time. Okay, basic information, we've talked about it. So the more you know, let's say I want to pitch Nikola. On the behalf of Nikola, I want to pitch journalist. I would like to know more about his SERPACT, amount of employees, all those informations, right? The more I know, the better answer I can craft if I have to do this, because that's normal what PR, how PR works. Preferred topics, the more the better. Okay. Now I show you some examples of links. Right, so you've got a Shirley, which I showed you. Would you like Healthline? Surely you know Healthline. Authority score according to SEMrush is 100. You wouldn't say that 226 million is not a good website. Look at the URL and the actual article. Article talks about 4-day work week, so it's aligned with health because it's about the balance, and 4-day work week. So these days, 4-day work week is very popular. We have HR people talking about it. It took people quite a while, you know, probably especially after COVID, but before COVID, things like this, they did exist. But there is as you can see, actual query, that the way what she said, maybe it was edited, I don't even remember, but it kind of happened, right? Here is Denis Ristich. Denis actually is a CEO of the Ask Gamblers, one of the biggest, it's my coffee maker, sorry. Right, so Denis Ristich, CEO of Ask Gamblers, is one of the biggest casino affiliate websites, right? And as you can see, they've linked the Denis using his name and sign link to Ask Gamblers. It happens, but it's okay. Organic traffic, big. Look, but it's nothing to do with running a business. He was talking about the state of diversity in the publishing industry. He got quoted. Now, Disability Review magazine. This is the example of the magazine that when actually was in the print version. It's amazing, you know. We've got a Lucian here from Surfer. You know Surfer. So amazing because he got quoted on Fiverr.com, which is the actual blog, right? Then we have Kylie Roof. He got quoted on Go banking rates. And as you can see, you know, you can partner with various companies and get paid for the promoting their products. Look, he said completely something obvious in the marketing field. It makes sense. He got quoted. It's nothing too specific. You see where I come from? They are very kind of, you would say, generic, but you can get quoted. So look at how these opportunities align. Now there is a Kyle Roof again, and Kyle Roof is on glass cubes. I don't know glass cubes that much, you know, but you agree with me. The Kyle Roof, you know him in SEO. He's a digital marketing. He's the owner of his own agency, and he can talk to you about how to manage the team, let's say, remotely, right? ZDNet, here's my example. That was 2 pitches, 2 queries. And as you can see on the right-hand side, that's what I did. I put my 2 links, one to the chili fruit and one to my personal blog post, 2 pitches, and I got the links to 2 different websites because that's what journalists choose. You know, I didn't tell him. Amazing, isn't it? 6.3 million. Would you like to say no to this? It doesn't matter, you know. I said something about my the things that I usually, when it comes to Wi-Fi and so forth, and my iPhone things. So maybe not necessarily nothing to do with the business, but the query was, if I can talk about something, I see that I can answer to this, why not? Forbes, sometimes Forbes can give you different anchor, which I've talked about it. Here in this case is sports website. Makes sense? Makes sense. HubSpot, Atina Zisi, again, from iGaming company. You know, maybe she didn't get the link. It doesn't really matter. You see where I come from? Like, it matters the actual the whole idea of, you know, pitching people and then giving them value. You know, if that makes sense with the actual content, right? Hub stuff, again, that's me here. I can talk about my company, Chili Fruit Web Consulting, what we've done, you know, what we've used to increase our productivity and employee satisfaction and so on. Go banking rate again. This is for my project called NBA Blast. Nice link, right? And that's it, really. And what you can see out of this, the more you're pitching, the more you will discover. And sometimes those queries and those good publications, they're gonna be syndicated. They can be syndicated on Finance, Yahoo, AOL, and even, as you can see, on localized Yahoo or other ones. So keep pitching, don't be afraid of it. But I think this is just one of way, not necessarily only, because there is no only one way. This is only just another way of getting good links. So thank you for that. And I hope I've inspired you how to do this. Why should you be more digital PR? Let's put it this way. Okay, thank you for the presentation.
Hey,
shall I stop sharing?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. So you don't pay for those links, right?
You pay me for my time. If I can pitch on the behalf of you. So right. I would need to have LinkedIn profiles, good LinkedIn
I understand
profiles.
that you want to play against the invoice in your inbox, but that's not going to be so easy. You know, we've got a couple of questions if you're ready for it.
Yeah.
First, what coffee machine do you have? And now the second is that how do you know?
I'm looking at the name.
Right. How do you know if you've been published when you're using HARO? Because obviously with outreach link building, you know, you've got information about like, hey, it's been published or whatever. Like when you buy links with WordPress, for example, or any other platforms that, you know, you just got your notification and stuff. But with HARO, as far as I understood, because I'm not an expert in this at all, like you don't know when you've been published, right?
This is why you have to use your tools, and sometimes ideally manually.
What kind of tools would you suggest then? Like
I don't want to promote, you know,
well,
I'm
don't
kind
worry
of
about it.
against that. Okay, if you really want to. So Brand 24 is my favorite one.
Yeah.
But also you have to have another one just in case the first one will not pick up. It's the same with SEO. You know, you need to have two packages of tools in case of one is showing you data deception in, like, you see that, wow, amazing traffic this website has, you know, but then you look at different tool, oh no, it actually doesn't have. So it's the same case with the social media tracking or all domains, you know. Google Alerts works, you know, manual checking with using the search operators.
Right, that's interesting, but seems very manual at scale. So I presume HARO is actually a premium link building effort. Is it?
Oh yeah, you don't get thousands of them. No, that's very limited number in the entire circulation. So no, you're not gonna get like tons of them. We're talking about maybe couples or maybe up to 10 every week, and that's good. You know, maybe even more depending on your team and then and the number of clients, but there is limited number of domains in the entire circulation. Well, that's which I've said, 15,000 only when it comes to DR 80 plus, all languages. Going back to your question, it's DeLonghi Magnificia. I don't know if you care about it, but I care about my good coffee, and then I need to be awake. So this is my coffee.
Right, thanks for that. We're definitely not promoting DeLonghi, but if they want to pay for the next one, I don't mind. There is one more question. Actually, the questions are popping up, which is excellent. So we have one from Kilerski, and he's asking that, are there any alternatives for HARO that you have checked, verified, and you can recommend?
Yeah, plenty of them. You have to keep checking because they also coming up. Feature.com, also known as Terkel. There is similar to this. It's going to be business to like B2B writing or journalist writing, something like that. There is one. Quoted, a very good one, and few others, which I'm keep exploring as well. But there's so many things you want to do in your life, and you don't have time for everything. So we keep testing it. But again, what you mentioned is very premium, and this is only one way of getting those links, obviously. And as I said before, only links to your homepage. So you are very limited to what you can do. It's okay to get some of them. That's it. And then you move on to something else. Obviously, then at scale, you would have to have your list from probably Macrack, which will cost you a lot. And you need to have something to talk about, and journalists something they're looking for. So paying for the Macrack doesn't make sense. So ideally, so it has to make sense. You need to have enough ideas to pitch, right? That's one thing, and enough clients to use the Macrack, because I think it starts from like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 for like a basic list, just for the basic list.
Right. I didn't know that at all. But thank you for sharing. There's one more question actually, and since you said that you need to have a lot of time, or a lot of employees, a lot of clients, because obviously there's a lot of tools and work around HARO. Someone is asking about AI, right? So do you utilize AI tools of any kind and shape and form to assist in generating responses for your pitches? I presume, Andrea says, that's her question, I presume that you send out several on a daily basis, or how it works?
Several on there is like there are editions, 3 editions, a morning one, afternoon, and an evening. So you got to be very quick. You open your email and then you check, and then if you see something that is really cool, then you pitch. AI will help you definitely, but normally they're looking for the actual life examples. So AI cannot give you that unless you know how to prompt really creatively. You can do that, right?
I know the guy. So in case you need anything.
It works, but some people are very picky and they want to see actual examples. So if you give them even the numbers, maybe some data, it works, and it also pays off because people do remember you. So you're making relationship with those journalists anyway. So that's another thing, another outcome. AI definitely will help you, but AI meant to actually help and to speed up your work, but don't treat AI as a content creator, because it's only processing tool. So, if you
of course
give trash to the internet will give you trash out. And this is why Google is looking for real names with real examples, and those real examples and those quotes are being accepted by real journalists on real websites. So it makes sense. And that's how you build authority, expertise, and everything. So you're connecting the dots, right? So sooner or later, your blog with no authority, it can go somewhere up to a certain degree, but at one point it will
take time and a ton of money, basically. That's what I'm getting. But I understand it's a lengthy process, and the links that you showed are magnificent. I mean, obviously you can't buy those links. So there's one more and last question, because we have like 1 minute left here. Sachin is asking, like, has the proliferation of AI technology led to an increase in the volume of pitches being sent out compared to the previous times, like before AI? And
sure, yeah, of course. Come on, yeah, it does. Yeah, certainly. I mean, no doubt about it. Check just to check.
By how far? If you do, you have any numbers? Like, just out of the curiosity, basically.
Time you do the research, unless you know what you really want to write down, or you know how to write down, that might take you 50 minutes. Maybe with AI, it may go minutes sometimes. So those pitches, the time is crucial. But again, we measure the quality against the who's being pitched in. And there are many factors, such as your LinkedIn. If you have a good LinkedIn, no questions about that, because you can prove that you actually exist. So no matter whether you have your AI or you don't. So I know it's kind of funny, because you can write AI, and as long as you have a good profile, big profile, enough famous, let's put it this way, or sexy in the eye of journalists, they will use your quote. So it's the same as it didn't change. It's like we're still talking about the big guys will remain big guys and small guys will remain small ones. So it's kind of like a favoritism, nepotism a little bit, but it's still favoritism. So, but we've seen we've got experience and examples, real-time examples that you can pitch, and you can pitch even without actual LinkedIn. It just gets harder because it's very difficult to prove yourself, who you are, and then you need to tell them that you deserve to be quoted, right?
Right, makes sense. Yeah, thank you very much, Milosz. Thank you very much for your presentation, for your time, and for all your answers. I think HARO, it's not for everyone, but it's definitely one of the best ingredients in the link building that you can have. So if anyone is interested in learning more, reach out to Milosz. Once again, check your inbox for the invoice, and thank you very much. Speak soon.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me. Raphael, you are a star. See you, and let's chat later. Bye-bye.
Right, and next up, fresh out of the editing suite and filled with the insights from the case study, Rad Paluszak, my dear friend and a fantastic person overall. Rad is a tech wizard, AI enthusiast, web developer, software engineer, I think, and unbelievable SEO strategist. And finally, a co-founder with myself of Husky Hamster, link building agency and non-agency technical team of SEO experts. Rad has over 15 years of experience in SEO web development. He's been building teams for Matt Diggity, Matthew Woodward, and many more. Since 2021, he's joined with me on a journey in building probably the best SEO agency on the world. I think Rad can speak for himself, so I leave it to you, Rad.
Oh, if I just unmuted myself, that would help. Also, thank you very much. That was very nice. I'm just trying to share my screen now. Screen, not scream.
Oh, I meant to show something that Rad's expertise in SEO. So have a look at that.
All right, let's see links I got from this new link building company. Okay, this could be better, but it's all right. Right, what's happening here? What the hell is this? This is shit again? What the What the What the It's so frustrating when you buy something, it doesn't work for you, but you can't do anything about it. That in the video was me in the past losing it with the links I got from a supplier. As a dedicated business owner, you've poured your heart and soul into your website and you're trying to grow your sales. You know you need link building for that, but you don't know where to start. You're not an SEO, but you still go out there and get a supplier, only to find out much later that they took advantage of you, got you bad links and just wasted time and money. Ouch! I understand it stings. I was in your shoes. We created Husky Hamster to bring you safe links that always work and help you rank. You deserve good links at your fingertips regardless if you're a site owner, SEO or a marketer. Our clients love working with us. Do you know why? Because they get really good links, just like these examples here, and those links help them grow rankings and traffic.
A great success!
It's very, very easy to work with us. Get in touch with us on huskyhamster.com and tell us about your website. We'll analyze it and get back to you with the link building strategy. And then just wait while we execute this strategy to get your links.
Don't worry, gang, this one's a piece of cake.
Our quality guarantee is something you won't get anywhere else. First of all, we have extremely tight quality control processes to ensure all your links are safe. We also make sure that all the links you get are being indexed, meaning they will definitely get noticed by Google. For 12 months, our systems keep an eye on the links, making sure they are live. If anything happens to them, we'll fix or replace them without even involving you. As far as I know, we are the only link building company who gives guarantees like that. With a reliable partner like Husky Hamster, you can focus on your business and never have to worry about links again. So go ahead and get in touch with us today.
Right.
Okay, so that was my acting skills as well.
I mean, not bad. I maybe Bollywood than Hollywood, but still. All right, Rad. I leave it to you, my friend. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, so let's get going. Actually, a few days ago, Google just announced a new algorithmic update, Core Algo update, called August 2023 Core Algo update. So tune in, because that presentation might be even more important now than ever. So let's start with the client. The client, and this is actually a very important thing. They bought the website in home and garden niche, and what happened was the purchase date was on November 20th. That's really important. This is when escrow released the funds, and what happened was,
a few moments later,
literally a few days ago, this is the red line here I highlighted when the 20th of November happened, and a few days later, literally the site started getting obliterated with new links popping in, and the traffic started going down like crazy. Now, the traffic was already somewhat declining. We can see it here. But when we compare the traffic from before the update, during this time, and up until when we started working with the site, with the previous period, the site's lost almost 40%. And when it comes to earnings, September was one of the best months for this website, pocketing roughly $2,000. Then we had December, after it was affected with the dips, the revenue went down to $800, just shy of $900. And then January hit rock bottom at $669. So, and this is a graph with revenue roughly, so you can see how steeply it was going down since basically the client bought the website. So understandably, they were freaking out about it. They were freaking out about their investment. Now, whenever you approach an SEO for a new website, you can argue that SEO strategy will be different, but overall the action plan or things that you follow, like a process, is usually the same. So our process starts with SEO auditing, strategy, and implementation. And this is my question, basically, or answer with a question why it starts with an audit, is how can you help a website without understanding it first? basically. So we always have to start with the audit. Doesn't matter if it's a big e-commerce site or a humble blog. Obviously, the time put into the auditing differs based on the site size of the site, but obviously this is what we start with. And this element covers technical analysis, Google Search Console audit, keyword research, link building, content plan. Around the same time, after we finished auditing, but around the same time, we started doing penalty analysis. And by the way, I'm showing most of these things during the presentation. The analysis was towards a potential negative SEO attack. And we were also testing different approaches, which I share in a second. And also because, okay, you're in the penalty stage now, so you might not be getting that much traffic, but you always have to remember, hey, and have this northern star that you're working towards when you're planning for the site's growth. We also looked at improving the monetization, and I could sit here and talk to you a lot, probably like half a day, about how we audited the website in details. But what I want to show you is our leverage, okay? Something you can leverage, our lever, something you can leverage when you're working on the sites, when you can actually spend less time and get really good results. So I'm not going to go over everything in the audit, but I'll pinpoint things where you can probably improve. Now, for the SEO audit, we usually use Sitebulb, which is a great tool. And in this particular SEO audit, we discovered some duplicate content, images with missing alt text. And I'm not one of those guys who would scream about, oh yeah, there's one image that has some issues. But as SEO, what you need to do, you always need to assess what's the severity of the issue versus how difficult it is to implement it versus potential benefit. And this is how you know if something that you're planning to do or thinking of doing will actually have a potential, or maybe it will just waste your resources. In this case, like I said, images with missing alt tags. Basically, none of the images on the site had alt tags, and it was an info website in the home and garden niche, so that is pretty visual. So with something like over 1,000 images on the site, it was worth doing. Then there were some page speed and core web vitals issues, duplicate or multiple H1 tags, and missing meta descriptions. Now, for the last two, so H1 tags and missing meta descriptions, I really can't encourage you enough to use Horseman. It's a crawler tool which you can basically connect to some external tools, and while it's crawling, it can actually execute some work for you. In this case, that's just an example where you can connect the crawler with the OpenAI API, and then it can summarize content for you, rework your headings, or write you new page titles or meta descriptions or H1 tags. And then once it's done doing so, you can export everything to CSV file and import it to WordPress using a WP All Import plugin, which is basically like a drag and drop, and it works in bulk. So you can save a lot of time with that. Now, during the SEO audit, we also do a Google Search Console review. In this case, we found this fella, which is one of the worst issues you might have. Crawled, currently not indexed. That means there's a bunch of pages on your website that Google is seen, but it decided not to index them yet. And by the way, if you're wondering why this issue just popped up here, it's actually because we were the first company or first person who installed Google Search Console on this website, so we don't have any historical data. And when we saw that pointed to the direction that there's something wrong with the site structure. So we started working on the site structure as well. Now, this is how it looked like before. There were around 5 or 6 categories across over 500 blog posts. So you can imagine there was like 100 blog posts per category. It was overfilled. The structure wasn't great. And after we implemented like I don't know, 25 additional categories. This is more or less how it looked like in terms of a graph. Now, sorry, with the penalty analysis, obviously, you know, the thing looked not so great. We kept losing keywords, we kept losing traffic, and we started digging into that. Our suspicions were, as I said previously, negative SEO attack, or something to do with a core algo change that happened recently. In the period of 3 months towards the end of last year, there were actually 3 really big algo updates. So we were suspecting that was one of them. Now, starting with negative SEO, I plotted, so those blue lines are times when algo updates happened that had something to do with links. And we started looking at that, and we said, well, it seems like after 2 weeks since both of these algo updates, there were some drops in traffic. And maybe we were grabbing at straws. Maybe we were not. We didn't have enough evidence to support that. But nonetheless, if we looked at this link boner that the site got, which I showed you just a few days after escrow released funds to the last owner, and combined it with a very low DR rating, so domain rating, so some call it authority of the domain, we thought that it's just worth investigating. And if you're dealing with an algo penalty, there isn't one thing that you suspect that you shouldn't investigate. You should basically investigate all of them. Now, after we did full backlink audit, we started seeing some patterns, and we saw a lot of bad websites that were definitely built for some rubbish, for perhaps negative SEO purpose even. The content on those websites, that's just an example. This is how it looked like. So obviously you can see it's not that great. It's all made to build links and in a very bad way. So what we did, we disavowed everything over 440 domains, all of them that showed that pattern, because we don't really like disavow too much. We've seen websites where they didn't really need any, they didn't have any issues with the link profile, and people or SEOs disavowed some links, and then traffic started going down. So we're very careful with the disavow tool. Now, when we look at the core algo update, so again, with blue lines, we have timeline of when core algo updates happened, and we can clearly see that there was something to do with core algo updates and the traffic dips. So obviously, yeah, we were going in the right direction. Now, the problem with core algo updates is that the whole playing field has shifted. Might be that AI got smarter, might be that neural networks that run Google's algorithm at the core reassigned some weights or readjusted weights. The truth of the matter is there's no fix. There's no one particular fix. In the past, you had manual or algorithmic penalty for something. Now a broad algorithm change happens. There's a devaluation, and you didn't really get penalized. You just got what your site deserved based on the overall quality measured by the newly changed algorithm. So you might argue with that, but it's not any one thing that you did or didn't do. It's everything, the whole picture that you should do. I think core algo updates are usually affecting sites that that deserve that in some ways. I've seen examples where they didn't, but in most cases, there's something on the site that shows lack of quality. So since you have to fix everything you can, we went back to the whiteboard and started implementing all the basics again. Most of them were already discovered in the audit, by the way, because all of these things I'm talking about actually connect with each other. So we did some very mundane basics. We did content improvements, added additional FAQ sections, key takeaways. By the way, speaking of content improvements, this is my perfect example. I'm sure Viola and her presentation, when she looks at this content, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?" But just to quote a few here: replacement period, contact a plumbing expert or professional, repaired when they become tired after long-term service, and my personal favorite: there is nothing for a lifelong last, which I think they meant to say that nothing lasts forever, but it was just a just a really bad a rewrite or something. I don't know. Now, FAQ sections, obviously we implemented them based on, I'm actually talking about tools in a second, but we implemented them based on people also ask. We implemented JSON LD schema markup for structured data with key takeaways. This is an example from one of the big news sites, Daily Mail. A lot of big sites do that. I think personally that helps users assess the quality of the page or understand if this is helping them or no. For most of that, we used GPT-4. And like I said, people also ask, and I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, oh, Rad, but AI content, isn't it like a shady area in Google? And I say, well, you got to find a balance between automation and personalization, because you can support AI content with human writers or the other way around, if you like that, and everything will be good. Now, we saw in the early March, we saw some early signs of the penalty lifting. We were still losing keywords, which is good because Google was purging what was irrelevant, what wasn't meeting user intent, but the traffic started seeing slight overturns. So that was a small win. We saw some keywords popping in, so that was good. But then another Google update happened mid-March. I think it lasted an entire month or 5 weeks. So we did see another bucket of death in terms of the traffic. But I take it that it was mainly the re-evaluation. So Google was focusing on re-evaluating and understanding what's changed on this website and how it actually improved. And then traffic skyrocketed like never before, basically. Now, in terms of the growth plan, so most of these things were happening around the same time. So we did keyword research at the beginning, content planning at the beginning. We started writing content around March or February. I don't remember exactly. We started building links pretty early on too. In the growth plan, we also looked at additional monetization, and surprisingly, we actually implemented a full new language version of the site, Spanish version. Now, with the growth plan, like I said, you can't lose that goal from your strategy, because there's always growth needed. So even if you're going to be dealing with longer term penalty or devaluation, algorithmic devaluation, because it happens sometimes with core algo updates, you always have to have and keep executing the growth plan. Now, when it comes to monetization, so the client was a content website that was monetizing traffic with display ads. And don't get me wrong, display ads are great, but the problem is they're not that scalable. You can't do much about them. Obviously, you can chuck a lot more of them on the website, but then you end up with something like that, which is definitely against the user experience principles, which you can actually get penalized for. So that's not a good idea. So one of the things we suggested to the client, obviously going into affiliate marketing, and since the client had already content mentioning some products, affiliate marketing just made sense. And the easiest one to start with is Amazon Associates. It's very easy to join. It's very easy to implement on the website. It's very easy to start making money. Speaking of implementing it on the website, we have a go-to plugin, AWP, which with a simple shortcode allows you to implement something like that with just a few clicks, with just a minute spent, or another example, something like this. So the product boxes can be in all of your blog posts, and that's like takes you seconds to add. However, the problem with Amazon Associates is that it's very oversaturated, because it's so easy to join. Everyone wants to be in there. Everyone wants to make some money. It has relatively low commissions. I think the maximum is like 8%. So it's not that great. And comparing to other programs, it has a very short cookie duration. It means that if someone goes to Amazon from your website, and buy something only within 24 hours, then the commission is attributed to you. If it's over 24 hours, the commission is attributed to no one, just Amazon. Now, a lot of programs out there, affiliate programs, have a much longer cookie duration. I think I saw like 1 or 2 months in some programs. So obviously there's a lot of them, just a few examples here. So obviously you can choose and join a different one. They are or might be a slightly more difficult to implement. However, they will probably pay you better in the long run. Now, with the additional monetization, there's a bunch of ideas you can actually use to monetize your website. You can create a newsletter. You can do direct ad sales where you approach companies and ask them, "Hey, do you want some ads on my website?" So then obviously the revenue goes to you, or you can do lead generation, upsells, cross sells. You can do drop shipping, or you can start a YouTube channel based on your content. So yeah, the rule of thumb is the more ways to monetize your website, the better for you, because if something happens with one monetization source, like, I don't know, rates change for ad networks, like, which actually something happened for this website, but I'll mention it later also, or I don't know, Amazon slashes the rates, then you have some fallback for your earnings. Now, in terms of the Spanish version, that was a very spontaneous one. In the US, there's 41 million people above the age of 5 who speak Spanish at home. So that's a huge potential audience. Now, worldwide, it's even bigger. It's close to 500 million, so 500 million people speak Spanish worldwide. So that seemed like a really good idea, and we wanted to run it as a proof of concept. So what we did, and I am a software engineer and IT architect, or a software architect. So that's probably the reason why I don't really like WordPress that much. Now, I know the underlying language that builds WordPress. I just don't really like their technical decisions. And I didn't want to learn all of these solutions that WordPress implements. So what I did, I wrote some code for myself, so like scaffolding. I gave it to ChatGPT, and it became my best and favorite technical assistant. It helped me build this whole system myself. Now, then I connected everything with DeepL Translate API, which is brilliant, which handles HTML, so you don't have to fuss around with that. This is actually a little bit of an example of the code that was doing the exact translation that I wrote. And then, yeah, it worked. I was so in a frenzy of creating that that I even forgot that I can take screenshots, and I took I took photos of my screen because I wanted to share it with my colleagues very quickly. So it did work. We within like a couple of hours after we started it, all the content was translated, downloaded from WordPress, translated, and sent back up. And surprisingly to me, Google took like 4 days only. I think the screenshot was taken after 4 days, and they already indexed around 420 URLs with that Spanish content. So that was crazy fast. Now, when it comes to results, only on the Spanish version, we pushed it live on April the 27th. So within 3 months, it got 5,000 clicks, 209,000 impressions. I think it earned like, I don't know, maybe $200, but that wasn't the point, because since it was only a proof of concept from our side, we didn't actually charge the client anything for making that happen for his website. So I think still this is a pretty good result, and as you can see, it keeps growing. So I think it will be pretty good. Now, speaking of the results for the entire website, first of all, we did recover the penalty. Year over year, we had some really good growth. I'm showing screenshots from Google Analytics in a second also. Then month over month, and why, I'll tell you exactly in a second. Sessions were growing up. I mean, still are growing up. So this is a screenshot of Google Analytics and Search Console with all the traffic. You can see it's higher than ever. This is because we were so busy dealing with the penalty. We pretty much forgot that on this website, Universal Analytics is going to sleep, is retiring on the 30th of June. That's why I can only compare that to the last year up until the 30th of June. So year on year, we had like 55% growth. And for the same reason why I was comparing until the 30th of June, we looked at Google Analytics 4, comparing 1st of July to August the 6th when I was writing this case study, and the previous periods, just to show you that the traffic kept growing. So month on month, that last period versus the one covered with Google Analytics 4, we are still up almost 10% in sessions and 7.6% in new users. So obviously for a content website, that's pretty good. And I know everyone is interested in money. So revenue numbers, like I said, in December, January hit rock bottom. This is when we already started work, but nothing we did could have been indexed on Google, so it couldn't have had any impact yet. So 669, the lowest. Our work started kicking in February, some growth March, April, we're going up. In May, this is the title of the case study, 373% increase. Then we had a little hiccup in June. There were some changes in both Google, so another algo update that we had to do some tweaking with. And there were some changes in the rates paid by the display networks. And then in July, we're still climbing up, so slightly better. But plus, on top of that, we started hitting this sweet affiliate revenue, which I hope will just keep going up. So yeah, this is me. This is my version imagined by my avatar imagined by AI. So obviously we can see that AI has some issues with reality. I've been in SEO since 2010, developer since 2001. I'm very pragmatic and I like simplifying things. You can find me on social media. About us, so we are two agencies, non-agency and Husky Hamster. Husky Hamster deals with international link building, non-agency deals with global SEO strategies, SEO auditing, technical and programmatic SEO development. I'm giving back to community, speaking at different events, and yeah, that's all. Thank you. If you're interested, I actually wrote an ebook with SEO strategy blueprint, so you can download it. And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rad. Thank you very much for that. We have some questions, if you don't mind answering them.
Sure, if you have time. So
yeah, I mean, let's use two or 3 minutes. What was the ratio? I mean, what was the ratio of optimization of the content versus new content? Like, how did you approach that, and you know, what was the ratio and why?
So when it comes to those issues with the content, we optimized, I don't know, maybe 1/3 to half of that old content. But when it comes to FAQs and what was the other one? The key takeaways, we've done that for most of the site. And because the question was obviously also about new content. Sorry, I missed that. So since we started writing the content, we wrote around 100 new articles. And that site, when we took it on, as you could see, had 590 exactly.
Right. And did you use any tool for the optimization? Any tool that you recommend, like to, getting all probably devaluated content and just getting your content writers to revise that? Is there anything that you recommend using?
Yeah, well, so our main tool was GPT-4, really, combined with Horseman, that crawler that I mentioned earlier. So if you ask GPT-4 to only correct content that you have on your website, look at grammar and whatever formatting and things like that from the language perspective, then it does a pretty good job. It doesn't change, it doesn't waffle around, it doesn't imagine things or whatever it's called. So it's pretty good doing that. Obviously, it's ideally you would have someone look at that also, but since you saw those examples with really bad content, I would say that it's better to run GPT on that across the whole site, get that fixed, because it's already probably going to get things or improve things for you.
Okay, I understand. I mean, it's a very specific situation. I presume, site being in a devaluation, then it requires, thinking out of the box, because probably the natural approach would be just, getting a content writer to revise that and getting like a neuron or server or anything like that to optimize the content further, just compare it against the competition. But I think when you're doing at scale, you're completely correct. GPT-4 or 3.5 very much depends on what kind of prompt you're using, but the prompt is correct, then your content out should be corrected if it's really broken. So yeah, once again, thank you very much. Sorry, we have one more question if you're up for it.
Yeah, if we have time, sure.
Well, we don't, but since this is our event,
you're running it, so.
So, yeah, freedom. Anyway, yeah, we cut that off, don't we? Oh, it's live. Crazy.
Sorry.
Did you build any links during the whole campaign? I think you mentioned it, but someone wasn't listening anyway. But if so, if you did build links, how did they participate in recovery? I mean, obviously, if you know it.
Well, it's always slightly difficult to say when you're dealing with an algo penalty. What I can say for sure is, because obviously you saw how low the overall site's authority was when we took it on. Measured by DR was 4.4. So obviously all of these links, we were building, I think, around 5 to 10 links every month. I think since February. So there was, I don't know, 50 links in total, something like that up until now. It isn't much, but it allowed us to cherry pick, so do sniper approach, cherry pick some keywords that were just off of the first page and attack them. So those keywords, when they got some links, they started ranking. We also did what was left of it. We just threw some links in with good DRs, good authority, just to ramp that up. And I'm pretty sure it did contribute, although how much, this is something you can't really measure with the algo penalty. So you can look at those keywords that we were cherry picking and, let's say, snipering. Those went up, so that was fine, that's measurable. But when it comes to algo penalty, or devaluation, I should say, that's pretty difficult to measure.
Right. Yeah. However you name it, I think the site was suffering very much. I think it's a great example that you can buy a content site, feeling all cherry and blossom, and all of a sudden it goes down. And then don't panic, guys. You can always reach out to Rad. He's going to put a strategy for you that's going to work for sure, as you can see. You probably not supposed to say guaranteed in SEO, but I say it anyway. Success guaranteed with Rad. Rad, once again, thank you very much for your presentation, time spent on it, and appreciate it very much. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Right on. We have another speaker. We have Viola with us. Do we? We have, yeah. Hi,
There
Viola.
we go. Hello, hello. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Good to see you both, and great to hear Rad's presentation. Definitely inspiring.
Right. Yeah, it's very good to see you too. I have an introduction. I need to read it. I hope you're gonna like it.
All right, let's go.
Viola Eva, she's the founder of Flow SEO based in Berlin. Correct, right?
That is correct.
And you probably all heard about her case studies. She was publishing on LinkedIn, Decoding SEO Success. I'm not sure if this is still happening, but if it is, you definitely want to check this out, because I remember watching this and it was just great. And she also runs Meaningful Marketing for SaaS newsletter, and I'm one of the subscribers. It's a fantastic newsletter, so guys, have a look and subscribe. A bit of a personal story, because I met Viola 5 years ago in Thailand. It wasn't our first time when we met, but I think second or third. But we met in Thailand on Chiang Mai SEO, and we had a coffee. And I remember we were talking about running business, personal brands, a lot of other things. And quote unquote, you said, Raf, I don't want to run an agency because operations are a bloody nightmare, Raf. I'm not gonna do it. No. And you repeated no several times. I was sipping my coffee, like I was a director of operations at that time in other agency. I was like, right, yeah, I feel you. It's not easy for sure. So what happened? What changed that you decided to go into that?
Well, it's so funny that you say that, because Q3 is our operations quarter this year, and we're doing a lot of work at our after call process, how we manage tasks, setting our monthly focus. So I call myself an accidental entrepreneur and an accidental agency owner. I thought I'd left agency life, thought I'm going to be a solo consultant, travel around the world, speak, have some clients, kind of like Alida Solis was always my role model. She's very lean, very focused, doing a lot by herself. And then basically 1 month into my solo consulting, I noticed there's a lot of things that I'm either not good at or that I don't like doing or I don't know how to do. Enter Angela, who started as my editor and now runs our content team. Enter Boban, who started as a link builder then and does now a lot of link building, technical SEO research. So pretty much 2 months into Flow SEO, we were already 3 people. And then from there, based on inbound referral workload, have grown. We're currently 14. And so I'm back to operations now. Q3, it's all operations for us.
Right. Thanks for explanation. I was really curious, but obviously I assumed that was the story, that you didn't have much of a choice when you just started, then more people coming in. But I've heard great things about your agency and the things that you're doing. So I think it's going well. You have a lot of experience, and you're gonna be sharing one of your experiences today about. Am I reading this correctly? 1,306.
So today I'm gonna. Well, we already heard people talk about, ChatGPT, AI content. And so I thought it would be interesting. Let's look at AI content in the wild. Let's look at someone who's scaled AI content massively. And that someone is actually LinkedIn. And they've published 156,000 AI-generated, user-generated mixed pages in the last 6 months.
Okay.
So I did a first study of that in May. I think they had like 30,000 pages up. And I thought, 30,000 pages, that's kind of a lot. And they've been pumping out content, and now they're at 156,000 pages published.
Okay. Just can't wait. The screen is yours. The mic is yours.
Perfect. So, okay, let me make sure. Do you see my slide deck now and the title slide, and that's working?
I do.
You do? All right. So, Raf, I can't see you anymore. So if you want to keep an eye on the chat, and if any questions pop up, feel free to also interrupt me as we go along. Otherwise, I'm happy to do it in the end.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Have fun.
Perfect. So I already said it, these 156,000 pages that LinkedIn put up is what they call a collaborative article. And before we go into the mechanics of what makes them rank, what is the growth loop, why does this work, I want you to understand what a collaborative article is. So number one, the collaborative article lives on linkedin.com/advice. We can see it was launched in March, and this is a screenshot from Ahrefs that shows how many keywords it's ranking for. And you can see in the last 6 months, it has gathered 860,000 keyword rankings. It has almost 13,000 keywords in the top 3 and under 55,000 keywords in position 4 to 10. It's already gathered 35,000 backlinks. So overall, it's going really, really well for them. And this hub, linkedin.com/advice, is what I presume is one of LinkedIn's big SEO bets this year. That is one of their big SEO strategies this year, and they're really leaning into this. So when they launched it, they said, we are unlocking nearly 10 billion years worth of knowledge to help you tackle everyday problems. So it's interesting. They didn't launch it as this is our AI big bet, this is our SEO play. They launched this very much as this is a community play. This is a user-generated content play. So in their words, they say, we enable every member to tap into the universe of experience on LinkedIn. They say, we use knowledge topics published by LinkedIn with the insights and perspective added by the LinkedIn community. And what stands out to me is that language, AI-powered conversation starter. And then secondly, members contribute their lessons and anecdotes. So we got the mix here. When they say AI-powered conversation starters, I think that's actually not totally accurate. What they're saying is we're launching an AI-powered article, and then we let members contribute with stories, comments, etc. And so if you ever come across a collaborative article in search or in LinkedIn, this is how you can spot them. They usually have that blue box on the top where it says learn from community knowledge. Experts are adding insights into this AI-powered collaborative article. Or if you're seeing the headline, under the headline 1, it says powered by AI and the LinkedIn community. So it's really that dual play of user-generated content and AI content. Let's see if this video works. This is a little walkthrough of one of these pages. On the left side in the gray box is the, let's say, classic article. That's the AI-generated article on the left side. We can see nice headlines too, nice content. And then on the right side, we can see these are the boxes where people are adding feedback. We can see Erica is leaving comments here. It's inviting me to leave comments. So it's a bit of a mix of a kind of like Wikipedia style approach, maybe Quora, Reddit style approach, where we do have that meat of the AI article and then people contribute to it. Okay, now. Exactly. So why would we want to contribute? Like, why is this interesting for a LinkedIn member? Why should I be spending time commenting, sharing, engaging on these articles? So what LinkedIn says is they say, share your insight alongside other invited experts. So when they first launched it, leaving comments was actually not open to public. They launched it to an exclusive list. Angela, that I just mentioned from my team, she was one of those people who got in very, very early. She's commented a lot and now won this badge, top storytelling voice on LinkedIn. We'll see what that does in terms of like personal brand, reputation being strong in LinkedIn. But that is kind of like the promise that LinkedIn has for why you would want to contribute. If you contribute to these articles, this is the SEO in me speaking. You can gain exposure on search queries you otherwise have no chance to rank for. Meaning, if it's a very competitive keyword and you and your website have no chance of appearing on page 1, but there's a LinkedIn collaborative article on page 1, you have a chance to insert yourself into the conversation by leaving a comment on it, and so you're part of that conversation. And what LinkedIn is promising you is that you can gather credibility as an industry expert and thought leader, and you can build your professional expertise on LinkedIn. So 156,000 pages of AI-generated content. Why does this work? What are kind of like the SEO mechanics behind it, and how did they manage to rank so incredibly well in such a short time? Number one, these collaborative articles are very, very long. So I crawled the advice hub with Screaming Frog, and then I pulled out the word count. I did this, I think, in May when there's like 20,000 or so articles live, maybe 9,000 or so articles live. We can see the average word count of these articles is between 1,000 and 1,500 words. And the good thing is, because people are commenting, leaving comments, these articles keep getting updated and they keep getting longer and longer and longer and longer. They hardly have any articles with less than 1,000 words. Most of them 1,000 to 1,500, but then there's a few of them even longer. The other reason why these articles work is they're super keyword optimized. So we can see the URL this is an article that ranks for team skills on a resume. We can see teamwork skills, resume skills, teamwork. We can see that in the URL. We can see in the title, it says teamwork skills, resume examples. In the meta descriptions, how to use teamwork skills, resume examples, headline 1. How to showcase your teamwork skills on your resume, headline 2. And so these are the highly, highly optimized articles that follow a lot of SEO best practices. They use the keyword in the URL, page title, meta description, headline 1, headline 2s, and they're really, really long. And so they're already missing a lot. They're already hitting a lot of check marks that an SEO would like to see. One thing for context, this is actually not the first time that Google is launching a major, that LinkedIn is launching a major SEO content initiatives. The first SEO content initiative is actually purely user-generated content, which is when you log into LinkedIn and you're in that little start a post bar, there's actually a button that says write article. If you publish an article there, it gets published in a slot called /pulse, and it actually ranks extremely well. So again, another parasite SEO trick. If you can't rank for a keyword and there's not yet a LinkedIn article on page 1, if you're posting a keyword optimized, SEO optimized article on LinkedIn, building a few links to it, you have a pretty good chance of appearing on page 1. The other SEO content initiative that LinkedIn has is their partner-generated content. They call that LinkedIn News. And so they've been publishing with editors, writers, and partners at scale SEO content as well. And again, this also lives on the /pulse hub on the LinkedIn website. There, they really speak strategically to LinkedIn as a platform to find jobs and find hires, not so much to LinkedIn, the social media platform. So the partner-generated content is driven by the editorial strategy. So it talks about career, job search, workplace, technology, job skills, HR, etc. Whilst the purely user-generated articles obviously can be about everything and anything that we as the users of the social network dream about. Why do these collaborative articles work from a growth perspective? And what I mean by that, when I say growth, I mean growth marketing, in the sense that growth is a combination of product, marketing, sales, and customer success. Why is this a business engine for LinkedIn? Why does that help LinkedIn as a company to achieve their business and revenue targets? And there's 2 growth loops here that help them to be successful. The first one is an acquisition growth loop. So on the top, we have the collaborative articles. They're a mix of AI and user-generated content. These articles start ranking in Google and winning top positions. And we've seen that with the Ahrefs charts, that they're winning a lot of keywords and a lot of top positions. As they're winning top positions, they're generating organic traffic and new users. As more users come to the website, there is a higher opportunity for these people to contribute to the article, share these articles, which then in return makes these articles longer, makes these articles updated, and then again makes them more rankable, makes them attract more traffic. And so that's a really strong acquisition growth loop there. But it's actually also an engagement growth loop. So again, on the top, we have the collaborative articles, the AI and user-generated content. These actually ping people on LinkedIn and they ask for contributions, right? They're making me feel like an expert. They're telling me they want me to participate. Every time I do participate and I write something, it actually posts on my LinkedIn profile that I've contributed. So as I'm engaging more and more with the user-generated side of it and contributing, I'm producing more and more notifications on LinkedIn, both for myself as well as my network that sees that I'm participating. My network sees my top voices badge, etc. And so as I'm engaging more, I'm increasing my engagement and time spent on LinkedIn. And so it's really, that is why these articles work for them. They're a powerful acquisition growth loop and they're a powerful engagement growth loop. And the more you do, the more output they get, the more users they get, the more engagement, the more time on the platform. So coming back to my statement saying that this is LinkedIn's SEO big bet. With big bet, I mean a growth marketing initiative of significant strategic importance. 1, these collaborative articles really align with LinkedIn's published business strategy and general push towards becoming a place where professionals come to learn. LinkedIn is obviously a social network in which we can be thought leaders, talk with others, etc. But LinkedIn is also first and foremost a job marketplace for finding jobs or for hiring. And now they really want to go into the learning and development. We can see that LinkedIn has now a whole LinkedIn learning course platform. And so they're really trying to be an integrated place in which professionals come to find jobs, learn about jobs, connect with people from the jobs, etc. And they're being broader like that. It's also working for them because it's a really creative example of AI content at scale. And so instead of just straight up slapping ChatGPT articles on their website, they have that interesting twist with the user-generated content. But at the same time, if you think how much it would cost writing 156,000 articles, the whole AI component is obviously a much more cost-effective content production. But they're not straight up copy and paste AI. They do have that unique content, unique to Google, stories, examples, and growing article length because of the user-generated component. So whilst the editorial team is the one who chooses the topics, which are clearly very keyword focused, and creates the general structure and strategic focus, the LinkedIn editing team is never a bottleneck during this growth. And that's what allowed them to publish so much in such a short time. And on top of that, I'm very sure that this is LinkedIn's SEO big bet because they actually say so in their FAQ. So if you look in the LinkedIn FAQ, what they've said around finding collaborative articles, they say that, of course, you can find them through LinkedIn and searching the relevant skill pages, etc. But on top of that, they say, additionally, you can search for collaborative articles on any external search engine. And I think that half sentence tells us a lot about why LinkedIn created these articles and that they want them to be an SEO driver and that they first and foremost generated them to be a driver for organic. So why should you care? If you're running a content side or like me, if you're working agency side, I work with a lot of tech startups. Why should I care about the fact that LinkedIn puts out 156,000 pages? Number one, it talks to us about why doesn't Google ban AI content? Google has said in their documentation several times that they're not going to punish AI content as long as it's useful, user-friendly, and not purely published for the sake of kind of like scamming the algorithm. They've also said automation has long been used in publishing to create useful content. AI can assist and generate useful content in exciting new ways. So this is an example of someone publishing AI content and being rewarded for it. And so it's an interesting case studies for SEO to see what did they do right. One factor to not forget when looking at this is this strategy is what I call a sleeping giant waking up. LinkedIn is a huge organization, a huge company. I don't know how big their SEO team is, but probably compared to the entire organization of LinkedIn, not so big, which means the SEO team needed to get buy-in, from the marketing leaders, executive teams, and they managed to do that. That probably took them a while and an effort. Now the giant has waking up. And it's a giant because this is one of the few domains that has 98 out of 100 domain rating. So it's one of the strongest websites that exists on the internet. It's also one of the biggest websites with 822 million pages on LinkedIn.com, which means now that this monster of domain rating links and pages is working up, 156,000 is actually not that many pages in the grand scheme of LinkedIn. And the giant has now huge competitive advantage over you. If LinkedIn is going after some of the keywords that you are going after, they will likely win. They have this backlink, this size of a website, that age, that domain rating behind them. And so they're a very serious competitor for you now, even though they might not be offering the same service or product that you are. If you try to rank for anything in marketing or SEO, there's always HubSpot and Neil Patel on page 1. LinkedIn is your new Neil Patel or HubSpot for anything job, HR, etc. Expect LinkedIn to see a lot more of LinkedIn as a competitor for your SEO targets moving forward. And it's going to be very, very hard to get by them, same as it's very hard to get by Wikipedia also. If you want to read up on this in greater detail, I've published a case study on search engine land calling Decoding the SEO Success of LinkedIn Collaborative Articles, where I discuss this in a little bit more detail, and I'm happy for you to look that up. I also wanted to say thank you guys for joining us on an SEO session so late at night. I'll be there for a few more minutes if you have questions. And I did want to give a shout out to what Raf's been saying. Last year, I ran a webinar series called Decoding SEO Success Secrets, in which we uncover SEO strategies in the wild. We look at the SEO strategy of popular software companies so that you can learn from them and deploy them yourself. I have been a little bit sleepy with these in 2023. This case study on LinkedIn Collaborative Articles is one of my first ones. They are coming back, but there's also a bunch of on our blog that I want you to check out. So yeah, please go ahead, read these, because they are all about, let's talk about what's real. Let's move away from the textbooks and guides and how-tos. Let's see what people are really doing. And so with that, I'll stop sharing my screen, because when I share my screen, I can't see anyone. Hey, Raf.
Hi again. I've been there the whole time.
Again. Yeah, I wanted to see if you have any thoughts and if we have any questions.
First and foremost, great presentation, great flow. I mean it. And I must admit, I've heard somewhere months back that LinkedIn is cooking something up, but I didn't follow the lead at all. I was like, oh, again. But it just opened my eyes. Like, oh, this is huge.
It's big.
And as a matter of fact, before you answer, before you say, I've logged in already and just started looking at it and started contributing because it seems like a great idea. And you wanted to say something?
Well, I will say, I think LinkedIn was cooking up something, and this is pretty massive. And I think the thing that we as SEOs need to think about is, if you're a brand new site and you're slamming 156,000 AI pages on it, I don't know that it's going to do much for you, without the age, without the links, without the authority. But I think the danger is other big sites learning from them. So who will learn from this? Does the New York Times want to roll this out? Entrepreneur.com, Inc. Like, who's next? Like, this is the sleeping giant waking up, is like, if some of these mega sites want to start like getting a lot of organic traffic, LinkedIn just gave them a blueprint. And so I think it might get pretty crowded for us SEOs if some of these more giants wake up over the upcoming months.
I mean, yeah, that's super interesting because actually, we've got, as you said, those sites with a huge authority, if they follow the lead, they can basically occupy Google, and not only. So yeah, we should be publishing, our video, not tell them about that. But it's hard enough already, isn't it? So I think, yeah, but this is really great. What LinkedIn does, and one of the questions that was popping up was, do you take part in you contributing, and if yes, at what scale, and have you seen any results, whatever that might mean?
So Angela from my team did it back in March when it first opened. She was one of the people who was on the initial wait list. She did it a lot in the space of storytelling, content marketing, editing, her areas of expertise. She did win that badge, top storytelling voice. Now, what has this done? I think there's probably some sort of effect on her personal brand. Can I measure that? No. My next mission will be this. I will be throwing the hub into Ahrefs. I will be looking at all the keywords that are interesting to me, and then I will comment on them. So I will comment on content marketing pages, content strategy, content distribution, all the stuff that I want to insert myself into the conversation. That's going to be my next move. I only realized last week when preparing this webinar that I'm now eligible for commenting. So that's going to be my move. Go throw it into Ahrefs, look for a keyword that's part of my personal brand, leave a comment. I'm probably going to do this for a few hours, see if it does anything. Drink a bunch of coffee, comment away, and
Right.
But I don't know how to measure any effects of that. This is like the unscalable thing that I know it's doing something, but I'm not going to be able to measure that, I don't think.
Yeah, that's the thing, you see, because I mean, if you look at it from the different perspective, that LinkedIn might be using our expertise to do them good, and they won't allow us, I mean, to put the links to it or any other external sources that we can promote. So I mean, we had Milosz today earlier that he was talking about HARO, and to be completely honest, that's like a HARO 3.0, some kind of, I mean, some sort. I think like we have a lot of content, and basically what LinkedIn wants is someone to validate the content, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, I think I'm correct. And I would think about it like with everything that Google is now doing with AI and search, I'm thinking a lot more about brand identities. So I'm thinking Viola Eva as an entity in Google's mind. And so in this way, I'm thinking a lot more, where am I being featured? How do people talk about me? What do they, mention? And so in this way, I think probably it doesn't hurt having a few mentions, on a big site like LinkedIn. Again, can I measure the effect of that? I don't know. But I'm just assuming it's probably good for my Viola Eva brand entity if I'm appearing on some of this stuff.
Yeah, you're probably correct. I'm very keen to have you here once again in a couple of months to talk about it more, like what kind of results you got, because you probably not even know like what's going to happen, but I think this is the developing situation, and we might see that I see that LinkedIn would have to promote those people that are contributing the most, because otherwise what's the point?
It's a dark age for content creators.
It is.
I mean, with Google pulling the content straight up into the AI chatbot answer with like a little bit of credit of sorts, ChatGPT. This is another one, etc. Like this is a whole different beast. It's like talking about the ethics of crediting sources and content creators. But yeah, and LinkedIn is feeding. This is us engaging there is first and foremost good for LinkedIn.
Yeah, as always for the big guns, and then maybe something for us then. Anyway, thank you very much once again for the presentation. Very good comments, and people very happy with that, because I don't think that many of us were aware actually of what's happening and at what scale on LinkedIn. So once again, thank you very much. It was great to have you. Have a good evening.
Anytime, and have fun with the next presentation. Thank you.
All right, thanks. I hope you guys ready. We had one more presentation. We have Alex Tachalova.
Hi, Raf.
Hey,
How are you doing
Alex.
today?
Yeah, I'm all good. I was excited for the entire day.
You've been a rock star so far. Really enjoyed listening to you.
All right, thank you very much. I was hoping that other people would be rock stars, but since I'm a rock star, I'm okay with it. Trying my best here. It's super great to have you, Alex. You're an accomplished digital marketer with really impressive track record in link building and building businesses. You're known as a
so, which is
you are.
I have to use vowels for it. It was all an accident, I think.
Well,
I've never been planning anything like that,
Wasn't we all? I mean, I'm definitely the same bucket, but your expertise with Digital Olympus and how you reshaping the link building narrative, I'd say it's really inspiring. So obviously we talked a lot.
Appreciate that, Raf. Really, thank you very much for your kind words.
That's right. It's all true. That's all how I think about you. So your former SEMrush marketing executive, you know that tool that does almost the same things as good as HARO, but not really. Oh, hey team, I didn't know team you were here.
I have to say, I have one word, right? Organic traffic, which is kind of a crap inside HARO. Even though, could you imagine we pay almost 2,000 USD on a monthly basis to HARO just because we use their API.
Okay.
And, we still need to go to SEMrush just because, the data, the quality of data in HARO is just kind of what? It's just a joke.
Well, yes, I was hoping we get some funding with HARO for the next event, but thank you for ruining it. So
well, now you have to go to SEMrush.
Yeah.
They have money.
Thanks for the tip. Oh, anyway, Alexandra, you will be talking about organic link flow. I'm super interested to hear about it because, I'm also in link building for years now. I'm been doing this, have a team, and very keen to hear from you. So yeah, the screen is yours, the mic is yours, guys. Ask questions as we go, and obviously I answer them, but I'd say I ask them. So at the end of the presentation, all right, have fun.
Thank you very much, Raf, and thank you very much everyone for joining us today. So I'll be talking about, improving your organic link flow, right, with the help of link building. Just a quite interesting topic because I think the biggest problem of link building is that once you start doing it, you just really need to continue doing it, right? So you kind of need to build the same number of links or even a bit more months over months if you really want to get the same organic traffic growth, right? And that is the most problematic part, right, of link building. But let me first of all introduce you to my horse. That is Barbie, right? And she's kind of, I think she looks really good, right? And that is the reason, right, why she has been featured on the Stables website for free of charge, just because she's, so handsome. 10 times on various equestrian magazines. So I'm based in the Netherlands, and so basically, random photographers that are coming, shooting Barbie and featuring her, kind of using her as a model, and so on and so forth, right? And I've never done anything, trust me, right? So she's kind of working like a magnet of all those things, right? And I guess, the reason, right, is just simply because she's beautiful and charismatic. Well, in the majority of cases. Anyway, circling back to our problem, right? So for sure, big well-known brands, right, that can generate links organically, just because, you know, people know them, they love them, and so on. Also, sometimes, you know, smaller brands, just because they're so authentic, right? You know, they kind of, you know, present their product so good. I don't really know. It might be in some e-commerce niches, in some B2C niches, direct to consumer niches, right? Where really, you know, customers are falling in love with the products and they are ready to actually promote it for free of charge, linking back, and so on. But in the majority of cases, it's not like that, right? So, you know, Barbie effect is very limited. And I would say it's kind of, it's not really walking across each and every niche. And, you know, we still need somehow to create those link magnets and to actually to facilitate, right, the process of getting organic links. And that is just based on my experience, right? So I just want to share, right, what we've tried so far, what type of content worked the best. And one more time, it's all tightened up to a particular niche, right? You have to remember that not in each and every niche, the same type of content will be working in the same way, right? There is also the matter of timing, right? So whenever you enter a new niche, right, a brand new niche, or a quite, let's say, like young niche, you have way more opportunities when you enter a niche, a well-established niche with a intense level of competition. Then you will be facing completely different scenarios. Okay, so first of all, I have some bad news. Wofo content doesn't usually acquire links organically at all, even though it might rank at the first, you know, among the first results, among the top 3 pages, right? Consistently, and, you know, one more time, getting tons of traffic, but, you know, editors, you know, are not linking back to those pages. And I'll show you some examples, right? Stat pages, you know, because a lot of people, right, link builders, content marketers, and just, you know, SEO related people, they talk about the importance of stat pages, and they just kind of working as link magnets, right? They generate links organically. Yeah, they do, but if only they rank at the top 3 search results, right? So it's kind of really top ranking pages. And in that way, and for sure, if your page appears at the top results, right, at the top 3 results, to be precise, then for sure it works extremely well. Then free templates and tools, they have, you know, very, you know, we've noted that they work quite differently across different niches. That will be the right answer, and I show some examples. As for, you know, surveying guys, because a lot of, you know, one more time, content marketers and just marketers, they're talking about creating, you know, survey guides and so on, then just kind of promoting them, and then enjoying links, organic, kind of, you know, enjoying a stable link flow back. It's extremely challenging, and being honest, we've never actually succeeded in that. So, I mean, like, we've been able to generate links back to those pages for sure, but we've never been seeing much traction in terms of organic link flow. So I don't really know whether it's really the right way to go. So I just put it, like, you know, aside, and I'm not going to talk about this just because we have very limited experience, I would say, and we haven't been really successful with that. As for interactive content, that is the same. I mean, it kind of, people love it, but I mean, most probably only limited. You know, it has some limitations. I mean, like, it can generate links from journalists or something like that, but it's quite one-time content, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of, you create it, right, for a particular topic, right, and then it becomes outdated, right? So you either have to update and then outreach one more time, which is also doable, become, you know, turning it in evergreen, but it's not really working on its own. Okay, so let's talk about, both content pages, which is the first thing here, right? So here's how both content works, right? As you can see, we kind of basically stopped link building activities, right? Somewhere around this time. And as you can see, it has kind of, generating some links after May, but I wouldn't say that those links were meaningful or something like that. So more like web spam. And, Ahrefs has some problems with actually reporting about new links, because whenever I open new links, I always see the same links, just because, the crawler works in a very awkward or misleading way, whatever you prefer. So I don't really understand why they report about the link that was basically added 2 years ago, and they kind of show you in the record of new link that it's completely a new one. So basically that is very much it. So I'd say they basically, it's safe to say that they weren't getting much links, right? And so that is very much it, right? So whenever you stop building links back to both content pages, it's just kind of either you have to continue, or you have to do something else. Maybe you have to connect your buffer pages with some other pages, so internal linking might help. But on a general note, you just have to continue building links if you want to rank well. There is another example. So we basically you are kind of having this page, and it wasn't generating any links, as you can see, right? It was kind of ranking, not very bad, but generating 0 links. And then we started link building activities, right? And then, as you can see, it helped for sure. Our link building efforts has helped this page improve its organic traffic flow, right? But basically, besides the links that we've been acquiring back to this page, we weren't seeing any other links. So as for stat pages, right? So that is just a page about basically podcast statistics, right? We've never done anything with this page. So it was just the matter of the right timing, right? Entering, most probably not so competitive niche. And as you can see, right, it's kind of generating quite a lot of links. And by the way, it's really ranking around the top pages consistently. As a result, it's kind of, as you can see, getting a lot of links, but not really kind of, if you look at the organic traffic trend, it's quite shaky. So that is the question of, of the quality of the particular, the quality of this page and so on. But in terms of the referring domains, it works very well, right? While there is another page, which is on our own website, right? And it doesn't rank very well. And as you can see, the link that you see there, it's all kind of generated by us, right? So it's not really an organic flow of links. And the problem that the niche itself is very competitive, and the page is kind of ranking somewhere, we can say kind of on the first page of Google, or somewhere even like, between the first and the second page of Google. And in order to actually to reach the top results, we most probably need to build another 40, 50, or maybe even more links. And we just decided to put this aside, being honest, just because it's not really worth it. Just because if you look at the search volume of this particular term, and if you look at the rest of other pages in terms of their organic link flow, by the way, you will note that they are not really getting tons of links. So compared to, for instance, podcast stat, right? It's kind of way, editors, and also content marketers, we can say, kind of producing way more content. As a result, it gives way more opportunities to link back to podcast stat, while, link building is very narrow targeted topic. So you don't really write much content about this. And as a result, it doesn't really generate tons of links. So something like SEO stat, right, should work way better. But also, if you target this type of search query, then the competition will be way higher there as well. So as for free templates, right? There is another thing at podcast named Generator, whatever it is, which is kind of working extremely well for these particular guys. And they run quite well, right? So they're ranking one more time at the top 3 results, right? And so it's that is the reason why they are getting a stable flow of links, because if you look at their competitor, which is ranking somewhere around maybe 5th position, right? It's kind of getting some links, but not really getting as many links as the previous page, right? Just due to the lack of visibility in search engine result, which means that if they can actually improve, right, their visibility, then obviously they will start getting more links, right? So one more time, the current situation with their link flow is kind of limited by their page's visibility, right? So if they can improve it, they will get more links. Okay, so as for templates, there are some certain niches like the finance niche, for instance, right? That's basically having too many I would say websites that at some time produced all that type of templates, and the search engine results are overcrowded with those templates and kind of generated whatever it is. And also most probably the need of linking back to such pages is not really as high as the need of linking, for instance, back to a podcast generator, which is a way more popular topic, most probably. So as you can see, even though this page ranks extremely well, right, it doesn't really get tons of links at all, right? So it's kind of basically not really getting any links, right? And here is another page. It ranks a little bit better, I would say, right? It's kind of maybe outranking a little bit the previous page. But as you can see, it's not really getting tons of links. It's not really getting much links, right? And I think, this most probably spike, right? What you see kind of, this part of the trend, most probably it was actually, it was kind of, basically created via link building efforts. That is my gut feeling. So I don't think it's an organic flow of links, right? So, the bottom line that you have to check, right, the current state of things in your niche before creating anything, just because even though on a general note, right, all those templates and tools, they are working quite well, but in your particular niche, it might be not like that at all. And here is, that is my favorite one. Even though, right, Canva, right, which is a well-known brand, it should generate way more links, right, compared to the rest of other pages that are not so, well-known and so on. It's not really helping them much. So, basically, I think, the right answer will be that, there is not a big need of linking back to such pages, right? So that the content that people produce is not really allowing them to link back to such pages. So as a result, right, they are not really generating links. And here is another example, right? You don't really know this brand, which is, the socialshepherd.com, which is, no one knows this brand unless you really work with them or something like that. And that was a very long-term client. We've been working with them for more than, I think, 2 years. And we stopped working with them. So we canceled our relationship somewhere like, I think, almost also 2 years ago, or maybe a bit less. But as you can see, things, in terms of the organic, and they don't really do any link building. So they've been kind of doing some link building with us. They were doing it, but then kind of they stopped all their link building activities just because they basically, they've been able actually to start generating consistently month over month a stable flow of links. How? That is their best pages, right, by the number of referring domains. As you can see, all of them are stat pages. So we kind of, yes, and we for sure we build links back to those pages, right? So that's how actually they were able to reach this number of organic links and kind of consistently getting right it month over month. And as a result, right, keeping those pages at the top ranking ones, right? So it's working like a snowball effect. Right, how did the magic happen? We built over 150 links back to their case stat pages, right? So that is, was the preparation, because they came to us, they had a domain rating of 30, and they had only those pages, right? So we helped them. We kind of created for them the right SEO visibility, and those pages, they basically started to generate links. So links generate links, basically. That is the thing that happened with them. And so right now they rank for sure at the top 3 results by all the search terms like Twitter stat, TikTok stat, and so on, YouTube stat, right? And people that are writing about, something related to social media, whatever it is, or even sometimes not related to social media, right? They kind of search for Twitter stat, see their page, and link back. Yes, everyone is lazy. No one is kind of doing any fact checking, and no one actually cares that is a no-name brand, in terms of, their overall authority. So they're happy to link back to this page. It doesn't look ugly. So why not? So yeah, as I've already mentioned, we stopped working with this client actually in June 2022, but everything works in autopilot for them, in autopilot mode. So just to sum this up very quickly, most probably if you're not a Barbie, but it's better to say if you are not, right, a very well-known brand that everyone wants to link back organically, then you have to work your ass off, right, to become the top, to get, right, one more time, you need to reach certain visibility. You need to ensure that your stat pages, your tools pages, they're the top ranking pages. Also, you have, you need to double check that basically editors, right, people are linking back to such pages. So, the pages that you want to outrank, they're actually getting a stable flow of organic links. And then it's basically, it starts to work, and you're just kind of getting those links, and that is very much it. For sure, right? You have to update those pages on a regular basis, which is very important. There is no evergreen content, especially in this situation. So that is more or less it. And that is, the second kind of conclusion, right? Organic link flow is built on the sum of small efforts, obviously, right? And you have to repeat this in and day out, right? So there is no magic bullet or magic pillow or something like that will actually lead to a Barbie mode, I would say, even though, Barbie exists and she's kind of, she's really beautiful. That is very much it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hi again. Thank you very much. I think we have a question. Oh, that's not a very nice question. Why do you think Ahrefs is bad, and why the answer is yes?
Okay, let's do a session about Ahrefs. One of them, as a person is paying nearly 2,000 USD, right? I guess I can have my perspective on this, right?
Of course.
So I think, my main problem with the Ahrefs that I use it for backlink analysis, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. Just because, as I've already told you, the organic traffic data is just not really useful at all. Okay, and as a user of their backlink analysis features, I could hardly recall any new feature that they've released in the recent 3-4 years, right? So what they do, right, they basically kind of do small minor changes, kind of updating a little bit those graphs, kind of updating a little bit this data. But for instance, the problem of reporting to me old links is kind of here, and it was it has been there for, I don't remember how many years, and no one has actually given a shit about this, right? So, I mean, for me, right, the problem that I pay as a user, right, not only for the data that I see right now, but I want to see something new. So, for instance, I recently opened SEMrush, right, their backlink data, and I think they had added some really interesting reports about, your domain ecosystem, what is kind of connected to a domain, something like that. A map or something like that, similar to Majestic, but Majestic is kind of, it's quite ugly, but it's kind of looking good. It's kind
Majestic
of,
is a dinosaur of SEO, so
yeah, it's kind of, if you love, Minecraft or something like that, you should enjoy the thing as well.
I get it.
Yeah,
But,
kind of, that type of thing, really oldie but goldie, I would say.
Also, okay, so Ahrefs, but yeah, being completely honest, I was obviously teasing a little bit about this question, but anyway, I think you're correct. Like we had a lot of data problems with Ahrefs in past year or so. We started paying a lot more attention, and obviously it has its problems. And there's a question here. I mean, there are two questions. One is from me, one is from someone else. Like the question from me would be: have you spotted some backlink data or traffic data errors very early, so you started using different tools to make your decisions, or you was like me when you were using Ahrefs and you started making decisions based on the wrong data?
Since I'm always kind of having I always been having simultaneous access to SEMrush and Ahrefs. I'm always going, kind of comparing, because whenever Ahrefs, right, report me on a decline of the traffic, for instance, for a client's website or something like that, I've learned it in a hard way, because there was a few situations when I was kind of believing in this and trying to kind of do some research around this, but then opening SEMrush and kind of seeing nothing, right? So I try to use kind of a combination of tools just to make sure before kind of, writing down an email or alerting, or before even going to the Google Search Console, right? So before, having any doubts and really acting, right? So I think on a general note, because Ahrefs, on the main graph, it always shows a combination of all traffic sources, right? That is sometimes what makes everything quite misleading, I would say, in my opinion, because you don't really care whether, the traffic, whenever you work with specific markets, right, you're focused on the US market, right? You don't really care much about the growth of Indian traffic. While they might show that the overall trend is positive, right? But that is just because of the growth of the portion of Indian traffic rather than, the main traffic source.
Yeah, right. Yes, I mean with Ahrefs, like every single time when they updating their database, and it was happening several times recently, we had to spend a lot of time analyzing data from the different sources and combining data, because they just basically were discovering some extra keywords, and it was completely misleading to us. Obviously, clients were all happy, but all of a sudden the traffic is actually in decline. So I feel that, and I share that, and I don't have access to SEMrush, so if anyone here from SEMrush, I might need the license. Obviously joking. Okay, or not. I don't know. But anyway, I'm thinking there's one more question, because obviously the link flow to the pages, it varies as is shown on different examples. But what was understood by someone is that it reached a certain momentum, and then basically is on a, it's on a run. Like when it reaches a momentum,
it's on the run.
So there's two things.
No one can catch you.
Yeah, but the thing is that sooner or later this content will be outdated, right? And it will start losing links because of the natural causes and changes in intent and other things. So you won't be as hot topic anymore as you were. So you need to pay attention to it, I think. And whether this is the question is what this is a good decision to stop your link building if you're getting free extra links, mentions, and citations, or not, and just keep going. I mean, What's your opinion?
It all comes down to your final goal. If you're okay with kind of getting linked to that start pages and you know how to monetize, this traffic, then it's great, right? It works for you, so no problem. But in the majority of cases, you want to link back to both pages, and no one is linking back to them, no matter how great is your brand, right? You kind of, you can take like HubSpot pages, right? And look at their, both pages, for instance, and you will see that, 90% of links, they're all kind of built, right? So, one more time, the problem here is that those links are working quite well in order to kind of, compensate the lack of, your organic link flow, especially if you are not HubSpot, right? So if you're like the social shopper, no one cares about you. No one will be linking back to your organic. It's like, oh yeah, let's link to HubSpot just because it's kind of HubSpot, right? Whenever I'm writing about content marketing, yeah, it makes sense to link to HubSpot, right? But no one actually cares about you. That is the problem, right? So it's kind of balancing things out in some ways, right? Cutting some costs and making it, more, I would say, kind of organic and harmonic, right? In terms of your backlink profile, because if you kind of remove this part, right, and you're only building links back to your both page, then it's disbalance things out. Then you have to also allocate some budgets in order to build links back to other pages, because then sooner or later it might become an obvious pattern that you are getting, over and over, month over month, links to very specific pages. So, it's just to make things more natural, right? And to cut the costs. So I would say in the following way.
Yep, thank you for that. And there's obviously one more question that always is around when we talk about links. Is link building dead, or it will be very soon because of the AI and different ranking factors? What's your opinion about it? I have mine, but I want to hear yours.
I think it would never be dead, just because the link itself is like, I always kind of tell everyone, it's like a recommendation, right? So the nature of the link, if you think over that, what is a link? It's kind of someone is recommending you, and the better the recommendation, the more authority you are getting, right? So it might be something else. I mean, like, not the link that we know, but you should still getting those recommendations, because how to understand that, Alex Tachalova is a good entity that you can trust, right? It's kind of, all those recommendations, they are creating my entity in reality, right? So I think for sure, right, it's the same, a lot of people are talking about, for instance, multi-attribution, right? And multi-touches and so on. That are the same. The way users are coming to your website is no longer the same, right? Because, it's all about various touches. When you hear about this brand over there, that go, to a website, then you kind of visit one more place where you hear about this brand, and then finally you come as a direct traffic. But you can't really say this conversion with the direct traffic, right? Because there was so many things that happened, right, between, coming to you as a direct, organic visitor, right, and finally converting.
Yep, indeed. So link building is not anymore just an SEO effort. I like to call it a search marketing effort, I'd say, because obviously whatever is happening on search, this way or the other is actually very much touching SEO and organic optimization. So Alex, thank you very much for your time, for your presentation, for your knowledge. It was fun. Thank you. It was great to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Ralph.
We don't have any further questions.
For organizing this amazing conference.
Thank you very much. We'll see each other next time for sure. Guys, it was a pleasure to have you. I hope you enjoyed all the presentations. I know it was long, but I think that kind of knowledge usually comes at the cost. And here, we had it for free. So we shall continue that like 2 months from now for our next event. So stay tuned. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.